presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Tonight from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, a weekend series kicks off between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. A look at the standings in the NL Central. The Cardinals lead Pittsburgh by 8. Chicago 8.5 games back. With Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us on this Friday night. The Cubs and the Cardinals, and this is always fun.
Doesn't get any better than this, Dan. The players love it. The manager, the coaches, the broadcasters, everybody loves it when the Cubs and Cardinals go at it. And it's even better when you've got two very talented teams, and that's what the Cubs are. They're a lot better. The Cardinals, on their side, are having a historic start to this season.
A lot of it has to do with pitching on both sides, and tonight, two good right-handers squaring off. Jake Arrieta will go for the Chicago Cubs. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it's John Lackey. Cubs-Cardinals coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. 7th. Cards, Cubs, Arrieta, Lackey, and a pretty good game for St. Louis.
Yeah, the Cardinals finally got to Arrieta, who's been very tough against the Redbirds. John Lackey had 10 strikeouts, helped his own cause, but a very good offensive day from Jason Hayward, who had 3 hits against Arrieta. He's very, very tough, and he throws hard.
Jake Arrieta this season is 7-5 with an ERA of 3.07. And right-hander John Lackey, 6-4. His ERA, 3.41. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Chicago Cubs. Lackey, Arrieta coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Beautiful night thus far for baseball here in St. Louis. And as you can see, it's a packed house here at Busch Stadium. It's the Cardinals and the Cubs, and 2 teams vying for that Central Division championship. Dexter Fowler, a switch hitter, the center fielder, will lead things off, followed by the power-hitting first baseman Anthony Rizzo with 15 homers. Might be the Rookie of the Year, Chris Bryant, the third baseman, batting third. Miguel Montero will bat cleanup. Then Chris Coghlan, Starlin Castro. Mike Baxter gets the start in right field. The pitcher batting 8th, that's Jake Arrieta. And the second baseman, a rookie, Addison Russell, and he'll bat 9th. That 9 will face tonight's starter for St. Louis, making his 15th start of this 2015 campaign, and that's John Lackey.
6-4 record for Lackey, but what I like about his performance is the last 2 outings. He really had a rough time in Colorado. That came on the 8th of June, but his last 2 starts, he has rebounded. 8 solid innings against Minnesota, 7 solid innings against the Phillies.
Dexter Fowler is hitting .238. He's popped 8 home runs this year. He's driven in 22. The Chicago Cubs at 39-32, 8.5 games out of first place of the Central Division. First pitch by John Lackey is taken for a strike, and we're underway, which should be an entertaining weekend of baseball. One thing you notice about John Lackey here in this Cardinals season, the first pitch strikes, pitching ahead in the count.
70% or more first pitch strikes in most of his starts. He's just pounding the zone, keeps the pitch count down, part of the reason he's getting deep in the game.
I said to John, can anybody come up to you and visit with you on a game day? Did you get a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal? He said, absolutely. I said, John, come on now, let's be honest. And he said, okay, about an hour before the first pitch, you better leave me alone, because I find myself in a little different mood than when I arrived at the ballpark.
Yeah, he certainly seems like he has an edge when he pitches, and I don't know that that's all bad. You know, people have emotional edges in different directions. I think we've seen that from Carlos Martinez.
A strikeout for John Lackey, first of the night.
Carlos's edge is a little different, is a little more playful, but Lackey's a little less playful, I would say.
It's a good way to put it. Less playful John Lackey. A look at the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense. Gridget, Jay, Hayward in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Reynolds on the infield. Molina behind the plate. Good start for John with the strikeout, and it brings in Anthony Rizzo.
Dan, I can't help but to think about some of the great ninth inning ends to games between the Cardinals and the Cubs over the years, and you think about some just fun moments, and think about Marmol throwing a wild pitch, and Adrian Chambers scampering across the plate, and of course Ryan Sandberg in the big moment in Chicago. And you know, I think each generation of Cardinal player and Cub player has to kind of enter into this rivalry. They don't really know about it until you become part of it, and then you realize you can go all the way back to Brock and Gibson and Brolio and all that, and realize this is a pretty fun rivalry.
Carpenter, tough play, 2 down. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to have DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
I thought we had T. West on top of the arch or something with that shot. Pretty nice.
You never know. He might be up there. The guy gets every shot that are the toughest shots in sports. Here's Chris Bryant, already with 10 home runs, 42 RBIs. You know the story by now. Did not begin the season with the Chicago Cubs. He was with the minor league affiliate in Iowa, as they did not want to start his clock and essentially get themselves another year before he hits free agency.
Wasn't a ton of games really he sat out, but just enough to benefit the Cubs as an organization. I know Joe Maddon was happy to have him because he saw what he did in spring training. He was really the star of spring training for both leagues.
And the 1-1 is hit out of play. You wonder how that decision, though, will be viewed if the Chicago Cubs miss the playoffs, let's say by a game or two. Could he have made that difference?
Was their record 5-3 without him? Don't really think that would hold much water. I think they already kind of got off to a good start. They have plenty of other young talented players too. I just think his was an economic reason, which I think everybody was ready for, and I'm sure he didn't like it because it cost him dollars, but it's the way it works.
First season for Joe Maddon, the former Tampa Bay skipper. Grew up a Cardinals fan. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. Got him, a strikeout for Lackey. 2 in the inning, and the Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. Cubs Cardinals. The rivalry continues. not a good series in Miami. He now has 9 home runs, and he'll bat leadoff for the Cardinals tonight, followed by third baseman Matt Carpenter and Johnny Peralta. Mike Reynolds will bat cleanup. Jason Hayward, Yadier Molina, Brando Grichuk, the left fielder tonight, John Jay, and the pitcher batting ninth, that's John Lackey. They will face Jake Arrieta. His record is 7-5 this year for Chicago.
3-1 lifetime against the Cardinals. That loss came in May. ERA of 1.51 against the Cardinals. Overall in his career, 41 wins, 37 losses. But he's a guy that has a big upside in terms of his stuff.
Do you like Colton Wong at the top of this lineup?
I like him in the lineup. He's a dangerous first place hitter. I'll say that. And I think long term, depending upon where his career goes as a hitter, he can be a second guy or a third guy even.
Hit the other way, little bouncer, fair ball. With his speed, he's thinking 2. Coughlin over to get it. Throwing to second base. Leadoff double for Colton Wong.
What gives you a little bit of pause thinking about Colton Wong in that leadoff spot is the number of runs he's driven in this year. He has been very productive, but you also like that speed at the top of the lineup. He brings that. That's kind of hard to find in baseball these days, a guy that has kind of plus speed, ability to steal bases, which I think he'll get better at, by the way. But if I were to ask you, Dan, what 2 Cardinals, or ask any Cardinal fan, what 2 Redbirds are tied for the second most RBIs on this team, I think a lot of people would have a hard time coming up with maybe both the answers. Matt Carpenter and Colton Wong.
Both with 34. And now it's Carpenter. Hits it to the right side. Taken there by Addison Russell. Advancing on the play from second to third. It's Wong. A look at the Chicago Cubs defense. Chris Coughlin in left. Dexter Fowler in center field. Mike Baxter is in right. Bryant, Castro, Russell, and Rizzo along the infield. Miguel Montero is behind the plate. Jake Arrieta on the mound. That's presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Cubs play the infield in. This is a Cubs infield, Dan, that has made a lot of errors this season. 14 for Castro, 8 for Russell and Bryant.
Here's Peralta after the evening off in Miami. A rare night off for Johnny Peralta. Peralta at 305, 11 home runs, and he has driven in 40, tops on the club. Outfield is fairly shallow, especially in center and in right for Peralta. That pitch inside at 95 miles an hour.
Throws a hard cutter, about 91. That's hard for a cutter. Also has a curveball. There's his pitch arsenal, brought to you by Hyundai.
The 1-1. Ground ball to short, play at the plate. He is out. The tag applied by Montero. Castro delivered a strike. As Wong was off with contact, took a chance. And by playing the infield in, it pays off early on for Chicago.
Cardinals trying to force an error there. I think that was a little ambitious to think that Wong could score on this, especially as close to home plate as Castro is. It's not a hard throw, not a hard tag. And with the infield in, I would say most of the time you're going to have to make sure that ball gets through the infield before you go. The Cardinals have run into a lot of outs this year on the base paths. It hasn't been a strength of theirs. The positive side of it is that they've been aggressive, trying to force errors, but the error doesn't happen, you hurt yourself.
Here's Mark Reynolds. As a matter of fact, the Cardinals have run into the most outs in baseball on the bases. A very short lead at first for Johnny Peralta, and an 0-1 pitch to Reynolds. In the air out to right field. Mike Baxter under it. And Jake Arrieta escapes an early jam. Lackey back to work when we come back. Here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. MLB.tv. If you're traveling and want to watch the Cardinals, see them anywhere on your mobile devices, just visit MLB.tv. Miguel Montero, the former Arizona Diamondback backstop, will lead it off, followed by Chris Coghlan and Starlin Castro. First pitch is a strike, and we're underway here at the top of the second. Montero is saying, okay, make sure and give that to my guy too. You think about Montero and Molina, and Yachty wanted that pitch right there. These are two workhorses over the last 5 to 10 years. These are the guys you could count on for the most part day in and day out.
Play a lot of innings. Interesting that Montero has 6 errors of his own. Talked about this defense for Chicago being a little bit below par, but his 6 errors surprises me.
Let's turn to Rick Horton's Toyota keys to the game.
I think the first key is maybe better with a question mark at the end of it, is have the Cardinals figured out Arrieta. They did in May, but before that he was very, very tough to hit. In fact, a couple of Cardinals didn't hit him at all, John Jay and Matt Carpenter. And the Cardinals offense, who's next? We've seen a couple of guys catch fire on this road trip. Jason Hayward, Yadier Molina, but the Cardinals overall have not been led by just 1 or 2 guys. It's been guys taking turns. So the question is, who's next?
Chris Coghlan is batting .246 this year, 8 home runs, 18 RBIs. Lackey telling us that right now the internal competition with the starters is as fun as he's ever seen. And the teams that he's been a part of, he said he equates it to like you're running in a competition and you're passing the baton. You don't want to be the person that drops it. Great analogy, I thought.
I love it.
And in terms of the Cardinals and the Cubs rivalry, he looks at this being very comparable to the Yankees and the Red Sox.
So you're telling me that he told you all this on the day he was pitching? What do you say, an hour before?
Right. You could talk to him an hour before.
Fans ask me all the time, and I say it's just about that time with you. I've got to leave you alone about an hour before a broadcast. Just kind of let you get into your little zone that you get into.
The reality, Rick, it's for you, it's every minute of my life. But I'm forced to sit here with you. No, I don't mean that. I love being here with you.
Well, you get your game face on.
We should do the Bob Knight game face. What is a game face? This.
Different for different people is what it is.
Exactly.
We were joking about Carlos Martinez. His game face is really a swagger.
Good way to put it. Confidence.
And Lackey's game face reminds me of Danny Cox from years ago.
Agreed, yeah.
This is my game. Get out of my way. We'll talk later. Politely.
But get out of my way. 3-2 pitch, fouled back. I get a kick out of watching John Lackey and his interaction with the umpires. And he said, now I'm older than a lot of them. And he said, sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
And I don't even realize half the time that I'm upset about a call or showing my disapproval with certain aspects of a hitter or the umpire. It's just the way I am. This deal has turned out to be a remarkable steal for the St. Louis Cardinals. Any way you want to look at it.
Absolutely.
1-out walk. I mean, you look in terms of production. John Lackey is producing at the major league level. Joe Kelly's in the minor leagues now. If you didn't know that, sent down to Pawtucket, the AAA affiliate of the Red Sox this past week. Alan Craig is off the 40-man roster for the Red Sox, owed millions of dollars. John Lackey putting up numbers at this level. So production, check. In terms of money, check. He's pitching for the league minimum.
Well, you always think of a trade as a short-term question and a long-term question, and the short-term answer has certainly been all Cardinals with that trade. And I know Alan Craig has started to swing the bat better in Pawtucket and AAA, and he's hitting about 285 now, which is, again, not lights out, but it's better than where he was.
That's to the backstop as Lackey dropped down. Gets past Molina, and Coghlan advances to second base with Castro at the plate.
was just a bad release point here. He drops down and just holds onto it too long and throws across his body and back to the screen. I think the emotion that we see most from John Lackey that can be interpreted many ways is frustration. I think that's what he wears on his sleeve. It may seem like he's mad at you or trying to make a point with a catcher, with an umpire, with a hitter, but I think he's just kind of letting his frustrations out.
Now time called by Castro as he steps out. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner at second base. One and one the count. Castro is hitting .261. 5 home runs. He's driven in 35. We'll keep an eye on the Pirates game. They're taking on the Atlanta Braves tonight. They're in the 5th and trailing 1-0. 1-2 the count. I know it's early. There's a long ways to go in this major league season. We're not even at the All-Star break. But if you're the Cubs, 8.5 games out, head-to-head matchups with the Cardinals, these are important games.
No question about it. You want to prove that you belong in this conversation, in this race. Probably more so for the Cubs right now than for the Cardinals in this particular series. But Mike Matheny was very clear before the game, and he gets very agitated when people start asking about where you are in the standings, etc. And he just doesn't really want to even go there. He just wants to say, look, I can't let my players think that. We're working together as a team right now, and I don't want to start thinking about numbers and projections and all that. It'll just throw us off, and I get that.
2-2, got him to reach, and the play is made by Peralta. You wonder, as slowly hit as that was, should Coughlin be at third base?
Certainly one of the ways you get from second to third, you got to read it off the bat quickly, and his first read is it's in front of me, I'm not going. But if he gets a good jump, very possibly he could have made it to third. But of course you don't want to make that out there knowing that you're going to have 2 outs. You're going to need to score on a hit anyway.
There's Mike Baxter, who's playing right field. We've had some injuries in the outfield so far for the Chicago Cubs, and in particular in right. 2 outs. They want to go inside, and he misses with a pitch up and in. Baxter, 250, no home runs, 1 RBI.
Cardinal fans probably remember Mike Baxter for the play he made in Johan Santana's perfect game in New York. And it was a play he made up against the left field wall in New York and basically knocked himself out. And he couldn't breathe for a moment. It was a very kind of scary moment for him. And he was out a very long time and just painful. Came up with the play, made the catch. Santana, of course, wasn't the same after that either.
Baxter grew up a Mets fan too, from that area, and preserved a historic night at Citi Field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield is shallow, and it's popped out. This will be Johnny Peralta. Cubs go 0 for 2 with the man in scoring position. We're midway through 2. No score. Mizzou night at the ballpark, July 17th. Cardinals battle the Mets. Get your tickets, wear your black and gold. We'll see you at Mizzou night, July 17th. The World Cup score. They've got it being shown on Busch Stadium 2 infield just outside Ballpark Village. And it's 1-0. United States scoring in the 50th minute. They just showed that here on the big screen inside the ballpark. Place went nuts, and the #1 ratings for the World Cup soccer games are right here in St. Louis.
Most important game other than Cardinals baseball that we've seen in the last week, except for the College World Series final, Dan, which I know you were really excited about.
Riveted. Go ahead and just say it. I'll stand back and let you revel in all the glory of winning a national title.
Much more fun when you say it.
The Virginia Cavaliers. Is it the first ACC team since 1955?
Wake Forest, yes.
On a hop to first, and Rizzo puts it away, and Hayward is the first out in the home half of the second.
Frankly, if it was Wyoming and Nevada playing in it, there was something about the emotion of watching those young kids play baseball that is just refreshing. And the big league level, it's guys are certainly have their emotion, but they're playing 162 of these games, and it's professional. But when you watch a college kid get excited about a moment like that and realize that that's a lifetime memory for them, it really is pretty special.
Here's Yadier Molina. And Vanderbilt had taken game 1 of a 3-game series between the two, and then Virginia came back and won the next 2. Molina this year is hitting .293. 2 balls, no strikes. Randall Grichuk is on deck. Great crowds expected all weekend long. Well over 40,000 for all 3 ball games. The 2-0 pitch. The fly ball lifted down the right field line, and Rizzo gives chase, and it's out of play.
Dan, we were talking about how Molina and Hayward have kind of carried the offense for the short term. Both of them very good on the road trip. It's just fun for me to watch this Cardinal team produce night after night when they don't have a top 10 hitter. They don't have a top 10 guy in home runs, RBIs. This is not kind of a big wow season for anybody offensively, but they're winning 2/3 of their games. I mean, just an incredible pace.
They pitch.
And they pitch. That's part of it.
Cardinals are first in team ERA in the National League at 2.67. As a matter of fact, if you look at the top 8 teams in all of Major League Baseball at ERA, you're talking about potential playoff teams and teams that are leading their respective divisions, like the Cardinals. Pittsburgh in second place of the Central, but their team ERA is 2.92. Tampa Bay is off to a good start. The Dodgers, the Cubs, Oakland, Kansas City, and the Mets. Those are the top 8 teams in Major League Baseball in team ERA, and the majority of them are, if the season stopped right now,
playoff bound.
2-2. So what does it tell you? Pitching is the name of the game.
But to give the offense a little bit of credit too, I think there's something to be said about an offense that scores just enough runs to win a game.
Or scores late, and this team does that.
Exactly. And if you've got an offense that pads their numbers and wins a lot of 15-2 games, and at the end of it, loses 3-2, I'd take the team that scores late and wins close games, and that's what this team's been doing.
Inside to Molina. 3 balls and 2 strikes. This begins a 6-game road trip for the Chicago Cubs. 3 here with the Cardinals, and then they'll get the New York Mets. 3 at Citi Field. They just wrapped up a brief 4-game homestand. That's taken low and outside, and a leadoff walk for Yadier Molina. So 1-out walk, and the anatomy of a hot half. The Cardinals see the run differential. So like you mentioned, Ricky, they're 19th in runs per game, but the team ERA, the starters ERA, the bullpen ERA, terrific.
Right. So the runs per game, again, the other reality of that is I think embedded in that stat is their ability to score enough runs to win. No, it's not the most high-powered offense in baseball right now, but it's a consistent offense that's going to get 3 or 4 runs a game, and often that's enough. They're not going to get 10 very often.
Randal Grichuk is seeing the bulk of the playing time with Matt Holliday out. And the news on Holliday was good earlier tonight. He's progressing and getting closer to returning to the Cardinals lineup. Looks like by the road trip potentially we may see him. Tonight begins a 9-game homestand for the Cardinals. And Grichuk has hit 4 home runs. He's hit close to 300 filling in for Holliday.
Mike Matheny was asked about the production of Tommy Pham and Stephen Piscotty today, and so was John Mozeliak, and they answered almost the same way. As well, it's not a need right now. I mean, you have Holliday coming back. The offense has been productive in the outfield positions, especially.
Grichuk lines it into right center field. That ball is down. Rolls to the wall. Yachty hustling to third. They'll wave him in. Grichuk with a triple. 1-0 St. Louis.
I've got to say it again, Dan. He's the most exciting Cardinal player right now to me, with all the things he can do, and speed is part of it, and so is power. Plugs the right center field gap. This is triple number 5 for Randal Grichuk. Only Ben Revere with more triples in the National League. Molina knew when that ball was in the gap he was going to have to score, because that was going to be a Grichuk triple, so he better get moving. And he was.
Now the infield end. Here's John Jay with the pitcher Lackey on deck. Mentioned it earlier in the game, but just how shallow the outfield plays of the Chicago Cubs, and that played into the reason that Jose Oquendo could send Yadier Molina all the way from first.
Reminded me of the way a ball used to get through the gap when there was AstroTurf. That happened a lot, which I think, by the way, is a part of the reason offense is down a little bit in baseball. There were a lot of balls hitting the gap that would scoot between outfielders, and even balls that would kind of scoot through the infield quickly with the old AstroTurf fields.
I hadn't thought about that, but it does make sense. 1-1 the count here on Jay. Cubs for the second time already in this game playing the infield end. You could hear Chris Bryant screaming, squeeze,
yep.
Squeeze.
Yeah, and Grichuk was certainly taking a few steps as if he may be trying to score. You know, there are times the Cardinals have done the safety squeeze where you get the bunt down and you just get a good jump off a third and you score. It's not a squeeze in the sense of a suicide squeeze.
1-2 pitch and a ground ball that's hit to first, and Rizzo comes to the plate, and for the second time tonight, infield end, the Cardinals gunned down at home plate.
Well, that stat will swell for Cardinals getting thrown out on bases, but they force Rizzo to make the throw. Again, a pretty simple catch and throw to get Grichuk at the plate.
Now John Lackey with a runner at first base. That's John Jay, and 2 down.
If you read off the bat that the ball's not hit very hard, even with the infield in, you may be able to score, but it really was not the case in either ground ball here tonight.
Here's a 1-0 pitch.
But you also look at the fact that the next batter is the pitcher, John Lackey, and maybe you say, okay, the chance may be 10%, but still may be our best way to score in this inning.
The 2-0. Now 3-0.
Didn't know they were going to pitch around Lackey, though.
3-0. You never know, right? Grichuk, as Ricky mentioned, his 5th triple this season. Borges and Adams both led the Cardinals last year with 5 triples. And Lackey draws the walk. Second walk issued by Jake Arrieta. Montero out to visit. Runners at first and second with 2 outs and a chance here for Colt Long. I always find pitch counts interesting in how you want to view them. And if you're the Cubs and you're looking at 30 pitches so far, these have been stressful for Jake Arrieta because he dealt with Wong in a leadoff double. So a man in scoring position, infield in a couple of times. High stress.
High stress plus a issue with his release point because he has a couple of walks in this game. So the walk to Molina with 1 out kind of did the same thing. Got him out of the stretch early and realized he's got to go to pitching and be careful. And then Grichuk lining that ball in the right center field gap. And there's clearly stress going on for Arrieta right here. They're going to have a major conference on the mound. Everybody's invited.
Chris Bosio is the pitching coach for the Chicago Cubs.
Dan, you were a catcher in college. You know, you were a good catcher. But, I mean, I think we could discuss 2 ways on this. Do you really, if you're a pitcher and catcher, do you really want the infielders in on that conversation?
No. No.
I mean, if
I know for sure the pitcher doesn't.
I don't think he does either, for the most part. Now, if you're talking strategy about maybe a bunt and how you're going to play somebody and changing signs, but you're going to have a pitching coach come out and get in your face a little bit. I kind of prefer that to be private.
Well, you know, you're dealing with a veteran like Arrieta. This isn't a young guy. This is a guy that's been around. He understands he's struggling to find the release point. If Bosio goes out there, if I'm Arrieta, I want to hear something of, hey, I'm seeing this or that. I mean, I don't need to be pumped up in the middle of a Cubs-Cardinals rivalry and 45,000 people here to be told you need to stop walking guys.
So the pinch hitter is getting ready to pinch hit below in the Cardinals cage. Do the pitchers go down there and stand around and help him?
Point taken. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Wong. Well, we knew that visit was the right thing, though.
Needing work. Who's sending out the minutes?
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. see at Ballpark Village on the beautiful days, they actually will open up the roof. Retractable roof over there. You didn't know that, did you?
I really didn't know that. I haven't dealt with that yet.
I've been over there when it's been, let's say, 65, 70 degrees, and they open it up. It's awesome.
It should happen quite a few times in August in St. Louis.
Richard, as you know, I like to call you Richard, even though your name is Rick.
But that's your way to
have a little fun with you.
Pull me back, too.
Yes. Come back.
You're chastising me.
It'll be 105 here in August. And that's okay. The pitcher batting 8th. The 1-2 pitch to Arrieta is popped foul and out of play.
Arrieta, by the way, 0 for 27. Between John Lester and Jake Arrieta, former American League starters, they're 0 for 55. 18 strikeouts in those 27 plate appearances.
Here's a 1-2. And it's popped out on the infield.
Pretty good swing for a guy that's 0 for 27.
Usually that kind of swing, you walk into one, don't you?
Occasionally.
Reynolds puts it away for the out. Here's Addison Russell, who was homered against the Cardinals, the series at Busch Stadium earlier this year. 5 this season. He's driven in 21, batting .250. They love his defense. A natural shortstop that is converted to second base flawlessly. Ground ball, base hit. I mean, he swung the bat really well against the Cardinals earlier this year.
He sure did, and he impressed me. He had a lot of gappers, too. He was hitting the ball with some pop and power, and has shown even just the way he approaches the at-bat and approaches the ball from a fielding position. You can see this guy's a big-time talent.
Now Dexter Fowler, who struck out on a check swing back in the first inning to start our night. Molina sets up inside. Lackey hits his spot for strike 1.
I'm reminded the first time I saw a young player play and coaching in Carolina League, and there was a player, and I saw him. I said, that guy just stands like a big leaguer. He walks like a big leaguer. He's 18, but who's that guy? And they said, well, that's Chipper Jones. He was the #1 round pick, and yeah, he'll be a big leaguer, all right.
They took Bobby Cox to go see him before they drafted him, and they didn't tell him who Chipper Jones was. They said, okay, just go ahead and watch BP, watch the first couple of innings if you want to. Chipper Jones went and took BP and said, that's him, and I've seen enough.
And I'm goodbye.
Goodbye. That's our guy. That's a true story. And then he left, and the rest is history, and Chipper probably on his way to the Hall of Fame. You know, you get those baseball lifers, guys like Bobby Cox, Whitey Herzog, your former manager, had a tremendous background in scouting. It does not take them long to look on a field and say, that's an athlete.
Yep.
This guy's a pitcher. I like how he throws the ball. Maybe we can move him here, whatever. But they spot him immediately. One and two the count on Dexter Fowler. With one out here at the top of the third.
Just missing the outer half. Still a pretty good location. When Lackey misses, he doesn't miss by much.
Now in his 17th professional season. Remember, he was selected in the second round by the Anaheim Angels at that time. Many years ago. Last year, after he was acquired from Boston, Lackey made 10 regular season starts for the club. 7 of those 10 were quality starts. I began the season at spring training. We were doing one of his games, and I posed the question. I think it's logical. What's left in the tank with a guy that has A lot of mileage on that arm and shoulder and body. He's thrown nearly 2,500 innings, regular season and playoffs since 2003. That's fourth most among active pitchers. And I think we've had a pretty good answer here in the first half. He's throwing the ball well. 3-2 pitch. Runner doesn't go, and a strikeout to Fowler. Brings in Anthony Rizzo. Popped out to third, first time up. A T-Mobile game changer, and on the road, big numbers for the Cubs first baseman.
Yeah, not just average wise, but also home runs. He has 11 home runs, 31 RBIs on the road, and you would think over the course of a season playing in the friendly confines that may kind of even out a little bit more than we've seen so far. Get some days where the wind's blowing out in Chicago. He may pad those home numbers before it's over.
You always hear it in baseball as the weather heats up, the hitters will heat up, it seems like. It's definitely true, it seems like, as Rizzo does get hit by pitches quite often. But you see that a lot at Wrigley Field because of what you're talking about.
Rizzo was trying not to wince, and he made it most of the way to first base before he did. But here's the pitch, and it's off the right, I guess you'd call it forearm, just inside the elbow, and a lot better than hitting on the tip of the elbow, that's for sure. He stays in there well. I mean, he hangs in on that plate. He's not afraid, and that's why he gets hit a lot.
So runners at first and second. Here's Chris Bryant. Struck out on a slider back in the first inning to end the top of the first.
You're talking about how much Lackey had left in his tank and how long he could pitch. I think from a player that has been around a long time like Lackey, you probably get an answer that it has much to do with the fire in his belly as it does with the condition of his shoulder and his elbow and his lower half. There's something about the intensity that you have to compete at this level, and I think that's one of the things that can go sometimes too, even before the body does.
0-1 pitch. Instead, Lackey steps off. We've seen that a number of times where guys say, I just want to be home. I've lost the desire to compete. I don't want to embarrass myself. I feel physically great.
Right.
But it's time for me to be home.
I'm done.
Yep.
I just don't want to anymore. Then you see the other guy that wants to so badly, and you can tell that the skills aren't there anymore, and they just cannot admit to that. They just keep striving and driving and trying to do it, and it's like, no, you need to update your resume.
Oh, and 2.
Good slider, perfectly placed.
Let's see if Molina, a lot of times with young hitters, he'll set up outside. He got him with the slider first time up. Will he go there again? This time inside, nearly hit him.
Well, Bryant has a big upside, and any fan of baseball knows who he is. He's going to strike out a lot. But Giancarlo Stanton strikes out a lot too, and I'd take him.
Is he fun to watch or what? Incredible. Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In watching Stanton the last 3 nights, I haven't seen a ball jump off a bat like that since Mark McGwire. He was hitting the ball that hard, not just the home runs, but a single. He had a double one night. It was incredible. The 2-2 pitch. And did he go? Yes, he did. Strikeout of Bryant. Adrian Johnson punches him out. At Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The BJC Healthcare difference maker. What makes a rivalry? You got to have two teams that are, at least for part of it, that are winning, competing for that championship, and the combined record of the two teams coming into play tonight, 87-56.
Best since 1977. Surprised by that.
I think some of those teams with Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker had good records. You got to have some villains too. A good villain always adds to a rivalry.
Of course.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Carpenter. Tony La Russa from the other side, the other perspective, the ultimate villain. Yes?
There's no question about that.
None.
I mean, if you think about the villains from the Cardinals' point of view, you just have to assume from the Cubs' point of view, it turns the other way. Maybe Chris Carpenter would have been a villain. Albert, of course.
Edmonds.
Yadier Molina's a villain. He's a villain in a lot of places just for being good.
That's part of it. Jake Arrieta from Farmington, Missouri, 6'4", 230-pounder. Came to the Cubs from Baltimore with Pedro Strop for Scott Feldman and Steve Clevenger. This has been a good deal for Chicago. 2-2 the count on Carpenter. Rounded out to second base, first time up. He's now 0 for 14 against Arrieta. These two attended TCU. The Horned Frogs. They know each other quite well. This has been the one pitcher that Carpenter has had fits with over the years.
Jason Hamill actually has better numbers than Arrieta by a small margin in this Cubs rotation. He's been their best pitcher, but Arrieta's been acting like their number one in a lot of ways. Lester's going to get better, so this team, I think, has some pretty solid starting pitching and something they haven't had for a while.
We do not see Lester in this series. He pitched yesterday. Here's a 2-2. And Carpenter lifts a high fly ball into center field. Fowler back at the track near the wall and puts it away. Matt Carpenter is 0 for 2. Johnny Peralta came up with one out. A runner at third. That was Colt Wong back in the first inning and grounded to short with the infield in. Play at the plate. Wong tagged out. Threat was through. Backs away from a breaking ball, and it's 1-0.
Kind of spinning his breaking ball here tonight. Arrieta hasn't been sharp with it. He's leaving it kind of high into the arm side of the plate, and just be careful about not hanging one of those. There are times where your break's not right. You say, well, I'll just overthrow this a little bit, then it spins out of your hand, and it just kind of spins right down the middle, and you have to rub up a new one.
Here's a 1-1. Sometimes it takes a while for a pitcher to develop, or any player. For instance, Arrieta was given 69 starts by Baltimore, then shipped to Chicago. And last year with the Cubs, at the age of 28, came into his own. He struck out nearly 30% of the batters that he faced. The 1-2. Put in play by Peralta. Chris Bryant. 2 down. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. You call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And at times last year, Arrieta was just unhittable. Get this, he was the first Cubs pitcher since 1950 to take 3 no-hit bids into the 7th inning. 3 of them.
He's averaging over a strikeout an inning this year. In fact, the Cubs pitchers strike out a lot of batters, and their hitters strike out a lot. So you go to a Cubs game, you're going to see some strikeouts both ways.
was a real issue for their offense a year ago. The team that has struck out the most this year, the first place club, that's Houston, 697 times. Right behind them, Chicago, 671. With all the talk of the changes that they made and bringing up Chris Bryant, Rizzo, an all-star, Castro can swing the bat. Their offensive numbers aren't that great. Their pitching has kept them alive in this division to this point.
Jorge Soler is a guy that has a big upside. He has a sprained ankle, and he did that in Miami, so he's out for some period of time. But he's got some upside to help this team eventually. But he didn't look good the last time we saw him.
On the outside corner, and a strikeout for Arrieta, his second tonight. The Cardinals picked up a run in the second inning, the lone run so far tonight. As we move to the top of the fourth. What a great deal on Cardinals tickets. Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more, now until September 24th. Receive up to 50% off a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Miguel Montero, Chris Coghlan, and Starlin Castro for the Chicago Cubs in the top of the fourth. This is not a shift put on here for Montero, but you look at Colton Wong, he's a good 10 to 15 feet on the outfield grass. 1-1 the count. Montero fly to left, first time up.
I think part of that has to do with judging the speed of Montero. Can I throw him out from that deeper position? Off the line at third is Matt Carpenter.
Here's a 1-2. Lackey has walked one. He has struck out 4. The Cubs tonight 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Hit the other way, but foul.
Dan, just want to pass on some news. We had a very special visitor a year ago who passed away this week. Her name was Mary Gansman. She was celebrating her 100th birthday with us here last year, and we just had a wonderful visit with her. She was just delightful, so we just want to express our condolences to her family, but she never missed a game. Loved her Cardinals baseball, and certainly we were blessed to get a chance to know her a year ago.
3-2 the count. Clouds are rolling in overhead. 3-2 pitch. Helen Glisson. Met her on the cruise. 94 years young today. Happy birthday to Helen. She was on the Cardinals cruise, and let me tell you, Rick, she ran the show.
Did she?
She did. She was dancing.
Good for her.
Gambling. Doing laps at the pool. Helen Glisson, happy birthday. 3-2 pitch. And a walk to Montero. Second walk in the ball game for John Lackey.
When you say clouds are rolling in, they are. These are some fast-moving clouds. The temperature has dropped, I would say, 5 or 6 degrees in the last 10 minutes here. So a little ominous-looking sky here in St. Louis. We've had a lot of weather issues over the last couple of weeks. I know St. Louis dealt with it even while we were on the road trip.
Coughlin walked, advanced on a wild pitch, then left stranded back in the second inning. Outfield is straight away. Lackey checks on Montero. Also Bethany White, who works here at the ballpark. Cardinals front office. Happy birthday, Bethany. Popped up left side, and there is Carpenter right on the line and puts it away for the first out. There's Starlin Castro, grounded out to short, back in the second inning.
When John Lackey is right, one of the things that you notice about him is he is able to pitch the ball away from the barrel of the bat. And he just got Coughlin to jam himself a bit. Actually, he jammed Coughlin, and so it's at kind of the inner half of the plate, but it's moving in, so it gets in on the hands. And if it's away, it's moving away, and everything's kind of going away from a player being able to center it, and that takes control and a little bit of late movement. And I think Lackey's really good at that. Because you watch him pitch, you say, well, the stuff, I mean, it's good, but what sets him apart? Why has he been a winner? He's making good pitches.
We've seen when Soriano was with the Cubs, it was that slider, middle outer half. He would chase that. The Cardinals have done that a lot with this man here at the plate, Castro. You see him get out. He gets himself out with pitches either up or off the plate. He'll chase.
Bryant strikes out a lot, doesn't chase. Castro strikes out a lot, and he'll chase. And you need to know that when you're attacking them.
Good job on the hit and run, and a base hit into right center field. Montero to third base, the hit and run to perfection by Starlin Castro.
Perfectly executed. The Cardinals have to decide who's going to cover if Montero takes off. They pick the second baseman, Wong, and Castro picks hitting the ball to the right side. And that's when a hit and run works.
Now Mike Baxter popped out to short, first time up. Crowd still filing in on this Friday night. It is packed here at Busch Stadium. Carpenter well off the line at third base. Reynolds holding, and the pitch is a base hit into right field, and this game is tied at 1. Mike Baxter with his second RBI drives in Montero, and it's a 1-1 game.
Throws a breaking pitch on the first pitch. It's a curveball that's just up. It just sits up for Baxter. Trying to maybe just a little get ahead curveball, get strike one, then he was going to go to work, and unfortunately he spun that one.
The chess game between the managers, and right now it's paid off for Joe Maddon with the hit and run. Lackey, nobody at the bag at third, gets Arrieta, and they would have had a chance to get the lead man if Carpenter could have gotten back to the bag at third base.
Yeah, he was charging and really couldn't get back. The Cardinals were kind of full bore, just charging from all three positions, which meant third base was vacant because that ball was bunted too hard by Arrieta. We'll take a look at it. In it on the right side is Reynolds, and there's Carpenter. He just can't get back in time. That's all kinds of time for John Lackey to throw him out. He kind of gives a half look and then goes on to first.
Carpenter looked like he was in between as to whether or not he should go after it, and then hesitated and couldn't get back.
Well, you don't want to be wrong about that. You don't want to kind of give up on the bunt, and then the pitcher doesn't get it, and you're not there to back him up.
0-1 pitch now to Addison Russell. Fastball misses outside. 1-1. Runners at second and third. Russell with a base hit to left, first time up. Cubs with 3 hits in the game and 2 coming here in the top of the fourth. And the 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and two.
Chris Maloney in charge of setting the outfield defense for the Cardinals. Jose Oquendo sets the infield defense.
Two on, runners at second and third. Lackey now set, and a 2-2 pitch.
There's something about the demeanor of Russell. I just love watching him, even looking at him facially. He's not overly agitated, but he's focused.
Another 2-2 in the air. Long way to go for Hayward. Out of room. Talking with Jason yesterday before the game about playing defense here at Busch Stadium. He said it took him a couple of weeks to get used to the home ballpark. Some of the angles here, one of them being right there, that sidewall.
Yeah.
And he said the biggest thing you have to learn, though, is about the padding on the outfield wall. So when you hit those screamers, those doubles, you know, those balls, those line drives, you got to know how to play it. And what a player he is defensively.
I've been impressed by the way he glides in the outfield.
Good way to put it.
He is an easy fast.
3-2. Hayward is due up first for the Cardinals, looking ahead to the bottom of this fourth inning. The grind of a major league season. The Cardinals got back around 3 in the morning and back at it here tonight. The 3-2 pitch. Bases loaded. Third walk issued. Dexter Fowler. Fowler comes to Chicago from Houston for Luis Valbuena and pitcher Dan Straley. 6 years with the Rockies, 1 year in Houston, and now with the Chicago Cubs. He comes up in a big spot here midway through. 2 outs, bases loaded. A broken bat and a catch made by Wong. Cubs tie it up. It's 1-1. Fourth, Jason Hayward will lead things off, and on the road trip, boy, swinging a hot bat. 4 home runs. He had 3 home runs in 3 consecutive games. Grichuk and Colton Wong. Follow up in the conversation with Jason. I said, what's the biggest difference with you at the plate right now? And he said, I have not made mechanical adjustments. It's about timing. He said, my timing was really off when I began this season. And he said, you know, you think about a week, you may only get 4 or 5, sometimes 6 pitches to hit for an entire week because of mistakes. And when your timing's off and you don't capitalize on those, this game is really tough.
Yeah, I think timing kind of goes along with maybe even some movement that he's creating in his stance that I think has freed him up a little bit. He's not so stiff and tense. And I think when you're stiff and tense, the timing is very hard. You got to get it exactly right. But he's got a better feel for it right now. There's some movement, which I think a hitter needs a little trigger. You need to be relaxed. I mean, if you're squeezing the bat and it's creating sawdust, that's just too tense. So you need to have loose hands, loose upper body. He doesn't look as tied up to me.
2-2 and a strikeout. That pitch at 95. And Hayward is the 3rd strikeout victim for Jake Arrieta. Molina walked and scored on a triple by Randal Grichuk. 5th triple already for the man standing on deck to drive in Molina from first base. They shade him opposite way, and he looks at strike 1.
He's still the all-star catcher, if you ask me. And there would have been a time this season where I thought that Yachty was hitting a soft 280, kind of just feeling for his swing. But I don't feel that way about him right now. He's driving the ball much better. Bat speed has increased, average up to 293, and hitting with a little more authority.
Here's an 0-2. Last year, Arrieta against St. Louis, 4 starts, was 1-0. He had 28 strikeouts in 22 1/3 innings. Only 3 earned. As he saws off Molina. Arrieta, bare hands, and throws a strike to Anthony Rizzo. AT&T Uverse Rewind, and it's Randall Grichuk off to the races. The gap in right center that would score Yadier Molina. 5th triple this year. AT&T Uverse Rewind that made it 1-0, and the Cubs have tied it up.
Cardinals with a run in the 2nd inning. The Cubs were glad they didn't get more. The Cubs had a run in the 4th inning, and the Cardinals glad they didn't get more.
Well, the Cardinals twice now have had a runner at 3rd and only 1 out and did not score. That happened with Peralta. It also happened with John Jay, with Grichuk, the runner at 3rd base, and both runners, Wong and Grichuk, thrown out at the plate with the infield drawn in. So missed opportunities early on. 0-2 the count.
And I think in those plays, I think the focus is in the wrong place. If we talk about the running part of it, it's the hitters not getting them in that's the real problem. There's a much better curveball, though it still hung a little bit on the inner half from Arrieta.
And a strikeout of Randall Grichuk. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 4 tonight for Jake Arrieta. All right, Jim and Hungo, thank you. There's a fly ball lifted out to deep left center field. Randall Grichuk is there. That baseball off the bat of Anthony Rizzo underway here in the top of 5, and Rizzo is 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. You watch Grichuk play in left. He prefers center field. And we've seen him with his speed fact that he can take a hit or two away. Very good speed on that ball that was off the bat of Rizzo. Chris Bryant has struck out twice. First time on a slider back in the first. Struck out in the third on a check swing with 2 runners on. Here's a 1-0 pitch from John Lackey. Ground ball left side, deep in the hole. Peralta not in time. Rather a 1-out base hit for Chris Bryant. Infield variety. And he's aboard. Next time you're looking for great seats, head to StubHub. On StubHub, you can grab Cardinals tickets all season long, even at the last minute. And even if the game is sold out. So get to StubHub today. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. It's one thing the Cubs have talked about. Bryant, being a corner infielder, can run a bit.
6 stolen bases. He beat that one out with his speed, and really a nice play by Johnny Peralta. I don't think there's anything else he could have done with that. The angle he had to come in to get that baseball. You think about Peralta, Dan has only made 3 errors this year.
Plays every day for the most part. Steady. Terrific year offensively. Joe Madden has even used Bryant in the outfield. Started him in center field one day in Pittsburgh. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2-0 the count on Miguel Montero, who flied to left and also walked and scored. Two and 1 the count. Montero with that walk then advanced to third on a hit and run with Starlin Castro, and that set up that first run. Lackey would love the double play. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Miguel Montero.
I thought with 2 and 1 we might see a hit and run there, and you know, kind of once you do it once, Dan, you kind of get a little confidence in the hit and run, don't you?
And that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I'm in your brain again. And it would have been a good combination to do that with. I think 3-0, you give Montero a chance to just drive a ball somewhere. 3-1 count. It's in his favor right now.
Runner goes, swung on and missed, throw down to second, and off the bag goes Bryant. The tag applied by Peralta. He had that base stolen but slid off the bag, and Peralta applies the tag for out number 2.
I don't like the hit and run on a 3-1 count as much. I think sometimes hitters get a little more anxious, and not a bad jump by Bryant, enough to steal the bag for a second. He can't hang on. Throws out the left hand, tries to get the corner of the bag, and just misses it. Needed to have a handle on it.
3-2 pitch.
I'm not sure he ever touched the base to begin with.
Those bases, I don't know if we talk about it enough. I mean, they just do not give.
No.
There is no give with the bases in a major league game. The peg is down by about a half foot in the ground and no give. 3-2 the count again on Montero.
Think about Willie McGee taking minor league players out, and they'll take them over to first base and talk about everything about first base and the base running kind of thought process there. Then you go out to second base, and I mean, there's all kinds of things about how you cut the base, how you cut the corner, sliding into the base, not sliding past it, part of that. The little things.
And a line drive base hit over Colton Wong. That was only the 25th attempt against Yadier Molina to steal a base this year, and he has caught 9. Celebrate the 4th of July at the ballpark and watch the Cardinals take on the Padres. Saturday, July 4th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older receive a one-of-a-kind camouflage print Cardinals jersey courtesy of Ford. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
I didn't mention it at the time, but it's another thing that an infielder is taught to do and has to do. Always keep the tag on a runner when there's a play at a base. If Peralta would have missed him and he would have flown by and he would have just kind of not paid attention to it, then he would have missed that opportunity.
Coghlan is down. It was a foul ball, and I think now he's saying that hurt.
Well, if you've had that experience before, you feel his pain. I think there are times when that happens where you can't breathe, and then you're not sure you want to be able to breathe.
Remember, he was the Rookie of the Year in 2009 with the Marlins. He had a torn meniscus in his left knee during a celebration in San Francisco.
Putting a pie in his face, as I remember, after a game-winning hit. He tried to get out of the way and hurt his knee.
And he's about ready to lose his lunch.
Seeing stars right now. The moon, other planets.
And a ground ball that's pulled foul.
Hit Lackey well, 7 for 13. But this is clearly a challenging at bat for him right now.
Three and two the count with 2 outs. And Montero, the runner at first, will be off with this pitch. And that's pulled foul. You mentioned the name of Ryne Sandberg earlier.
Yes.
Talking about the rivalry. He sent in his resignation as the manager of the Phillies today.
Pete Mackanin is the interim manager now for the Phillies. That was a team that really struggled when we saw them there, and they just are struggling to get any kind of offense, Dan. It's just kind of hard to watch them, and the way that club has deteriorated over the last 5 years.
It will not matter who's that manager.
I agree.
Three-two pitch, and that's a base hit into right field. Montero was off with the pitch with 2 outs and a 3-2 count, so he advances to third. Runners at the corners for Chicago, and it brings in Starlin Castro. It's 3 consecutive hits against Lackey. Castro is 1 for 2. Got a hit and run and a base hit to right field. Worked to perfection with Montero, who was the runner at first base. That's ball one. Here's a 1-0. On the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Lackey's been able to come up with the pitch when he needs it. That one just off the plate gets the benefit of the doubt.
Starlin Castro already over 800 games at shortstop. Highest total for any player before turning 25 since Robin Yount. Nearly 1,000 for him. Time granted late, and John Lackey won't like that a bit. Castro is 5th consecutive opening day roster. Already a 3-time All-Star. The 1-1. A little bit of a quick pitch that time from John Lackey. 1-2 the count.
I think the quick pitch is sometimes the reason why the timeout is kind of granted late, or it looks like it's late, because the umpire is trying to grant it when he thinks you're going to throw home and the hitter's asking for it, and there's a lull in the activity, but you can't always get that right.
Lackey trying to put him away. The 1-2 pitch. Got him. Strikeout of Castro as he slams his bat. The Cubs stram 2. They have left 8 on here tonight. One to nothing over China. Tuesday, the FIFA Women's World Cup semifinals begin. Team USA takes on Germany in a trip to the finals on the line. Coverage begins Tuesday at 5 Central, only on your local Fox station. And don't forget, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Here's John Jay. Jay with a foul ball. That pitch taken high.
Jay in his career has been able to get a lot of inside out hits, Dan, and we talk about that a lot. That's when you're able to keep your hands inside the ball on the pitch on the inner half and just drive it the other way. He does that as well as any Cardinals on this current roster, and you really have to trust your hands, and you again have to keep your hands close to your body. You can't extend your hands away, otherwise you get jammed.
2-1 pitch and a base hit into center. So leadoff hit for John Jay here in the bottom of the 5th inning. There's Lackey, who walked back in the 2nd inning. Squares to bunt. Strike one.
This could be an important at bat for John Lackey to get his job done and get the runner over to second base. You're in a close game. The little things matter. Really getting a successful sacrifice. I'm not even sure you call that a little thing. Fundamentals, hitting cutoff men, throwing to the right bases, getting sacrifice bunts down, taking the extra base. All those things become very important in a close ball game. I think that's one of the fun things about baseball, to dissect those and see the difference between winning and losing.
One and two the count. And he looks at a call, third strike. So Lackey not able to advance John Jay. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. We'll see a season debut for the Cubs, and Michael Wacha going for win number 10. He's coming off a 5-inning performance against the Phillies on Sunday. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap, and you'll see that on Fox. Strikeout number 5 for Jake Arrieta. And here is Colt Wong, who is 1 for 2.
Dan, Itchy Jones was one of the legendary coaches in college baseball at Southern Illinois University, and one of his proteges was a guy named Mark Newman, who played there and coached there at SIU. And I played for Mark up in Alaska one summer, and at the end of every game he would take out a little notebook that he kept in his back pocket, and he would go through the 7 or 8 things that happened in the game which made the difference between winning and losing. And I'll never forget the training of that, of understanding what this game is all about. And you might not notice those things, but he would notice very little things that again led to victory. And just think it's a part of coaching and managing a club is making sure your players are aware of those little things regularly.
0-2 the count. Wong doubled inside that third base line first time up, then was thrown out at the plate. And he's also struck out back in the second with 2 runners on to end a threat for St. Louis. Some of the little things that you look at in this game, missed opportunities really for both teams. Cubs have stranded 8. The Cardinals with a runner at third twice and only 1 out, and could not bring that runner home. Some of the little things you're talking about.
No question. Colt Wong has been kind of the author of some big things too. He sometimes he'll just drive a baseball when you least expect it. I think he surprises teams with his power at times. Could be a game changer with one pitch.
Sitting on 9 home runs, and he strikes out for the second time tonight. Arrieta is up to 6. It's a pretty nasty pitch right here.
Yeah, his slider has been better than his curveball tonight. This is more the curveball. He gets the kind of the 12-6 downward delivery, but he's hung a few of those today. The slider has been a little sharper and better. There's nothing wrong with that pitch.
Here's Matt Carpenter. Now 0 for 15. The do factor here for Carpenter against Arrieta. He's hit one to the track and grounded out to second. Both were hard hit. He takes a fastball down low. Outfield is straight away. 2 balls, no strikes on Matt Carpenter. Cardinals looking at Carpenter, Peralta, Holiday, Molina, all as potential all-stars, along with Colton Wong, Trevor Rosenthal, Waka, Martinez maybe. Why not? Certainly can make a case for all of them.
You can.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Matt Carpenter. 3-0.
Some of that determination as far as the pitchers are concerned will have to do with making sure all teams are represented and making sure there's the right players in the right mix. And speaking of mix, the Cardinals have a player in the mix for the futures game, which is all the minor league prospects. Alex Reyes is the Cardinals' choice for that, but he's been dealing with some shoulder issues. And he's actually not going to be pitching for the next 10 days or so.
He's on the DL in the minor leagues.
And he may be ready for the futures game, but he is a name that we're going to talk about down the road. I can promise you that.
I think a lot of fans are hearing, uh-oh, shoulder. Well, in talking with the Cardinals front office, they're not overly concerned with it at all.
No. They're just being careful with him, but he's a guy that has, I mean, electric stuff.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. And it's hit out of play.
We were talking to John Mozeliak about Alex Reyes, who's just in A-ball, but the strikeout totals are out of this world. And they said, well, does he remind you of, they were talking about his need to get fastball command. Is he like Carlos Martinez? And his answer was, well, it's hard to compare them because his stuff is just, well, it's just better. I mean, it's higher level than what you see on the Cardinals here. I mean, that's how good his stuff can be.
Watch Reyes throw on the side in a simulated game against Jaime Garcia earlier in spring, and he was unbelievable. Signed at the age of 16, I believe. So he moved from the Dominican to, or rather from New York to the Dominican, and then was signed by the Cardinals. Cardinals actually have about 3 different players that have done that. John Jay off with this pitch, the 3-2. And Carpenter hits a fly ball into center. Dexter Fowler under it. We head to the 6th. This game is tied up. It's 1-1. By Ford, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older. That's Saturday, July 4th. The camouflage print Cardinals jersey. John Lackey pitching into the 6th, a 1-1 game. This is Mike Baxter. Baxter with the lone RBI for Chicago tonight, a single to right to score Montero. That was back in the 4th. And the 1-0. Fly ball lifted into center field. John Jay. One down. Which team gives in tonight?
Seen so many games like this, haven't we? 1-1 here in the 6th inning. Again, a good start from Cardinals starting pitcher. This time it's John Lackey. Both managers are thinking ahead to what the bullpen is going to look like in the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
How about that? Jake Arrieta, a base hit to left field.
Does not look like a guy who is 0 for 28, does it?
You mentioned it earlier. Swing was decent, huh?
Yeah.
So his first hit of this season. A base hit to left. And here is Addison Russell on base twice with a single and a walk. Could be 2. Peralta steps on the bag. Double play. Peralta to Reynolds. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Of the 1982 season. It's the 1982 World Series Championship replica ring. Stay after the game. Cooper Tires with fireworks. It's all coming up Friday, July 3rd. Week from tonight. One, bottom of the 6th, rolls in. That little guy is just about done.
Looking the wrong way if he's trying to watch the game.
Yeah.
But he's having a good time with Dad at the ballpark.
Really saying, Dad, come on. Enough. Let's go. There's a sharp breaking ball to Johnny Peralta.
But Dad knows it's 1-1 in the 6th inning, and it's an exciting game.
Well, maybe Dad should. Okay, sorry.
Should
I agree with. I don't know. Peralta pops it up. Long way to go for Baxter, and makes the catch. Into the stands he goes. Fine play by Mike Baxter. We talked about it earlier. He's not afraid to give up that body, is he?
No, he's not, and he did it in a painful way in New York, as we mentioned, with Santana's no-hitter, and just had to brace himself, wanted to make sure the umpires knew he caught the baseball, and really it's sticking the landing that became the most important part for Baxter there. Nice play. I'm looking ahead, Dan, and seeing just how far Mike Matheny may go with John Lackey. He's at 99 pitches through 6 innings.
One more, then that would be about it, huh?
And you've got Anthony Rizzo coming up in the top of the 7th. So that's just the matchup I'd be a little bit concerned about.
Part of that decision process of letting him go back out for the 7th was a 4-pitch 6th inning. That helps, undoubtedly.
So you start crunching the numbers and you say, how far do I want to push my luck with that?
Reynolds had a big home run against Chicago earlier this year, and the Cardinals came back being down. Game started by Carlos Martinez. Reynolds with a grand slam. And he's got 5 home runs this year. Breaks his bat. Back to Arrieta. Flips to Rizzo for out number 2. Jason Hayward will be the hitter. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and a groundout. Arcia in the driver's seat. And at home against the Cubs, the Cardinals have won 10 series since 2011, and 29-12 the record. Kia in the driver's seat.
Every piece of news that John Mozeliak had for us before the game was all positive in terms of the injured Cardinals getting closer. Marco Gonzalez getting closer, starting to throw. Jordan Walden maybe 10 days away from being able to pitch off a mound. Who knows? We might not see him before the All-Star break, but maybe soon after. Matt Holliday, the news was good. He's getting closer. Jaime Garcia will throw a bullpen tomorrow. Nice to get some good news on the injury front.
1-2 the count on Hayward. I asked Jason, I said, did you put extra pressure on yourself? That's where the struggles came early on. He said, no way. He said, I have felt so comfortable here from day one. They've made me feel this way. His time is called. You can understand why he would feel pressure after a big deal. 2-2. Says he loves it here in St. Louis. And he mentioned the fans and the crowds that come out. He said, I can't believe it, even on a weekday day game, right? 40,000 plus. He said, I've just never seen anything like this. The 2-2. A broken bat slowly hit to the right side, taken there by Russell, and Arrieta is through 6. We head to the 7th. Good ball game. It's 1-1. 1-1 here in the 7th inning from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Hyatt Regency St. Louis at the Arch, offering an incredible Cardinals package this season that includes overnight accommodations, tickets to a weekend home game, personalized slugger bat, $25 gift credit to Brewhouse or Red Kitchen and Bar. Book today, 655-1234. Visit stlouisarch.hyatt.com.
One thing to look for in this series with Dexter Fowler is the Cardinals are going to try to have him hit left-handed when possible.
In the air, out to center. There's Jay out of his reach. To the wall it goes. And Dexter Fowler trots into second base with a leadoff double.
Despite the double, he's been better from the right side offensively. John Jay, who's run down so many balls in the outfield, couldn't get to that one. That ball was stung by Fowler. Location up in the zone, not where he wanted it.
Randy Choate is throwing in the Cardinals pen, and Seth Maness as well. But here's your question: do you want Choate to face Rizzo?
Randy had been up throwing when the inning started. I don't know that he was up to pitch to Rizzo as much as he was up to maybe pitch to Montero.
And Rizzo right now is trying to drive him in, but at least move him. That's Fowler from second to third.
This is one of those moves as a manager where you have a lot of column A points and a lot of column B points trying to figure out what to do with your pitching this inning. It's not simple.
He'll move him over, slowly hit to the right side, and Reynolds will take it himself. Anthony Rizzo 0 for 3 tonight. Go ahead run at third base, and it brings in Chris Bryant. Now here's a question for you too. Do you want to face Bryant, or do you think about the potential of putting him on and then maybe letting Randy Choate come in, or you think about the double play with Seth Maness? But do you want to face Chris Bryant in this spot?
Well, you don't want to face him. That's clear. But I think it's your best choice to go after him. He has struck out 82 times. I think you hope for the best righty on righty here. Even though you respect Bryant, I think you got to try to get him out.
Lackey has struck him out twice tonight. He had an infield hit back in the 5th and then was caught stealing by Yadier Molina. The go-ahead run is at third. That's Fowler. The Cardinals had this spot twice and could not score. Runner at third and just one out. And Bryant skies one into center. That's plenty deep. The Cubs will take the lead. The catch made by Jay. It's 2-1 Chicago. Chris Bryant with RBI number 43.
Dexter Fowler did a big thing, leadoff double. Anthony Rizzo, one of those little things, getting him from second to third so Bryant could drive him in.
Lackey's still out there. 105 pitches. Here's Montero. And a ground ball hit slowly to the right side. Let's stretch. The Cubs with an RBI by Bryant is 43rd. And they have the lead. It's 2-1 here in St. Louis. Cardinals with runners in scoring position, the highest since 1974 with a .330 average, and this year the team ERA, so it's about pitching, the lowest since 1981. Lackey gave up the leadoff double. That was to Fowler. Rizzo moved him to third. Bryant brought him in. That's the difference in the game. It's 2-1 now. 7 innings for John Lackey here tonight.
Disappointed about giving up that run, but really a fine performance for John Lackey. You go 7 innings, give up 2 runs, you should win.
There's Yadier Molina, who has scored the only run for St. Louis back in the 2nd inning.
And he still might.
7th inning and beyond. The Cardinals hitting .270. Follow up what we were talking about earlier in the game, the late timely hitting that they get, best in Major League Baseball at .270 average, and that's fouled back. 0-2 the count on Yadier Molina. Last night 4 runs after the 7th inning. Wednesday night 4 runs after the 7th inning. Inside.
And I keep thinking this curveball, this hanging curveball, is going to do him in at some point. He's missing off the plate on the inside, but if he hangs that over the plate a little more, he hasn't made too many bad pitches, but that's the one I would think could hurt him.
The 2-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. Here she comes. The pitch count for Arrieta now at 94. Currently no activity in the Cubs pen. Strikeout of Molina. Jake Arrieta has struck out 7 tonight. It's the Gateway Honda home run inning. If a Cardinals player hits a home run, the Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
This guy's certainly capable of doing that. Grichuk with 6 home runs on the season, and I'm going to guess every one of those home runs was a rocket somewhere. Many balls as he hits 100 miles an hour or more.
Just think back to last weekend in Philly. He put on a show there, didn't he?
Sure did.
At his first ever multi-home run game.
3 home runs in the series.
No balls, 2 strikes. Grichuk deep of the hole at short. Castro, nice play. The stretch there by Rizzo for out number 2. Tremendous play all the way around.
Well, that play doesn't work if Rizzo doesn't have the stretch and if Castro doesn't have the arm. In the hole, sets himself, strong throw, and the long stretch. Just in time, and he digs it out.
John Jay, 1 for 2 tonight. He singled to center field. The best opportunities for the Cardinals. Johnny Peralta, 1 out. Runner at third in the first. That was Wong. Infield in. Move paid off. They got Wong at the plate. John Jay, he came up in the second. 1 out. Runner at third. And grounded to Rizzo, who threw to the plate. Got Randall Grichuk Two costly plays for the Cardinals tonight.
So when you're writing a how-to book on the game of baseball and you get to the chapter of why do you play the infield in, use the first 2 innings here tonight as your example.
The 2-1. Hit to Addison Russell, and the Cardinals go quietly here in the home half of the 7th. 2-1, Chicago on top. On Fox Sports Midwest, we head to our studio across the street, Bommarito Sports Update, with the one and only Jimmy the Cat Hayes. He is something else. Kevin Segrist, our 36th appearance of the year for the lefty. Chevy called to the pen.
Who is something else? Jim Hayes?
Well, I wasn't talking about Scherzer. He's pretty good too, but yeah, Jim is just something else.
That's what I thought you meant.
I don't know why you'd even question that.
We miss him over here today.
We do. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Chris Coghlan, who has singled and also walked. That catches the corner.
It was a knee buckler there.
Well, Segrist is back to form, isn't he?
He sure is.
The way that we saw him a couple of years ago when he was dominating, and it didn't matter, lefties, righties. So good.
It's a couple of sliders in a row to Coghlan. That's kind of the third pitch to come back in my mind for Segrist. The changeup has certainly been effective for him, and the fastball up in that mid-90s range again.
Two is hit to short. There's Peralta. One down.
A
2-1 lead for the Chicago Cubs. Our Mazda game summary. The Cubs about hit the Cardinals 8-3. Arrieta has been sharp and very good here tonight. 7 strikeouts. Fowler 1 for 4, a key double. Picked up a run. John Lackey 7 innings. Grichuk 1 for 3. Two-0 pitch to Starlin Castro.
It was interesting to see Arrieta grabbing a helmet as quickly as possible before they had any ideas about pinch hitting for him. He's actually standing next to Joe Madden right now. And Joe's kind of cluing him in on what might happen here. But I think, honestly, pitchers in till they take you out. You just can't think otherwise.
Cubs bullpen 5th in ERA. Had 9 blown saves this year, 17 saves overall. Jason Mott has had a good year for the Cubs. His velocity starting to come back, which is what we anticipated. 3-2 the count on Castro with 1 out, nobody on. A crowd tonight 45,558. 45558. 15th sellout this year. A big gap in left center field for Castro, and here's a 3-2 pitch. Popped up to the right side. There's Colton Wong. 2 outs. The Cardinals will have the pitcher spot. Wong and Carpenter coming up, looking ahead to the bottom of this inning. Segrist has gotten the first 2, and it brings in Mike Baxter.
Cardinals have Greg Garcia off their bench. He has a couple of pinch hits since being recalled. And on the right side, Cruz, Scruggs, Cosma, and Borges. I would guess we would see Garcia.
What have you done to Baxter? And the 0-1 is lifted out to left, and it's a base hit.
What's the matter with you?
Baseball night in America returns. The Cardinals and the Cubs. Coverage begins at 6 on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Did you watch Anchorman on the way back from Miami?
It just came to me. I'm sorry. Baxter the dog.
I knew the line.
You're tracking it. Chris Denorfia will be the pinch hitter. So the Cardinals get Arrieta out of there.
So the trick of getting the helmet quick and the bat quick didn't work.
Didn't work. The way that Arrieta has been cruising through the Cardinals lineup, that base hit may have been the best thing to get him out of there, but who knows? Denorfia with a liner to left field. Over to cut it off. Grichuk is throwing to third. Not in time. And advancing to second, it's Denorfia. So second and third with 2 outs.
Well, Grichuk's got a choice to make of what base to throw this to, but I love the way he tracked it down and got rid of it quickly. Decides on third. Didn't really have a chance of getting the runner there, but when the trail runner gets to second base like that, you got another guy in scoring position, but I don't think you want to throw behind that runner coming into third when that run means as much as it does. So I think he did the right thing. I just like the way he moves defensively.
Here's Addison Russell. Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter, on deck. 2 on, 2 outs. A 2-out single by Mike Baxter. DeNorfia off the bench. Reaches with a hit. Arrieta. 7 innings tonight, 3 hits allowed. That was it. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. He threw a total of 102 pitches. And if the Cubs can hold on, Arrieta would pick up the victory. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Addison Russell. .255 with runners in scoring position.
This is one of those games, for the Cardinals' point of view, you can get out-hit badly and still win it. But this at-bat's going to be very important. Gets him to chase the fastball, top part of the zone. Key pitch here, Dan.
The crowd on both sides coming alive. The 2-2. Strikeout of Addison Russell. On Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Pedro Strop, 37th appearance. Or Chevy called to the pen.
He's a hard guy to hit, Dan. He does not give up very many hits, but look at the walks, 14 walks in 33 innings. That's kind of the best way to beat him. You've got to get base runners against him. He can be so tough, has a nasty slider, good sinker, throws hard. He's only given up 16 hits and 14 walks, so be nice to get a little of both here in this inning, and it is Garcia.
Greg Garcia had a memorable walk-off win for the Cardinals last year. He was hit by a pitch, and the Cardinals beat the Chicago Cubs. Garcia, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pinch hitting for Segrist. And then the top of the lineup for St. Louis. Colton Wong and Matt Carpenter. Very shallow in right field. 2 balls, 1 strike. Three and 1.
Here's where you can be patient if you're Garcia.
Outfield really shallow. 4 for 8 so far with a double this season. 3-1 pitch driven out to center field. Fowler going back. He'll look up. This game is tied. Of all people, Greg Garcia ties it. It's 2-2.
First career home run. What a moment. Heck yeah.
And now it's Colton Wong.
Well, I said he could afford to be patient, but that's a better plan. Just go ahead and hit one out to center field, 410 feet.
What a moment. Wong is hit by the pitch. And now the go-ahead run is on. Where was he hit? Let's take a look.
Back foot, maybe.
To be the front of the
I guess
the
it's
front
the
foot.
front foot, yeah. Maybe right on the toe. It's that sharp breaking ball, and yeah, right on the end of his foot.
The batter will be Carpenter, the first to have reached against Pedro Strop. The 2 teammates from the University of Hawaii. Garcia, solo home run. Wong hit by a pitch. And this game tied at 2-2.
Boy, if things turned here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Greg Garcia, big moment for him. He got the curtain call after doing this. 3-1. You can be patient or drive one out to center field.
Greg Garcia said, I not only want to just come up and be in the major leagues, I'm now not as wide-eyed. I'm ready to contribute. I'm not as nervous. Well, he's done that here tonight. This crowd is electric.
Well, Dan, I said earlier that New generations of Cardinal players insert themselves into this Cardinal-Cub rivalry with big moments. We just saw a nice moment there for Greg Garcia.
Nobody out. Wong the runner at first, and Carpenter looks at a ball. And with this game at least tied, the Cardinals get their closer up. Loosening in the pen, that's Trevor Rosenthal. Carpenter is hitless tonight. Hit one to the track back in the third inning.
Cardinals have had 21 come from behind wins, the most in Major League Baseball.
The 1-0.
9 times they've won games where they've been out hit by the opponent.
That's what we're talking about. The timely hitting, especially late, and right on cue. Greg Garcia delivers tonight. The heart of the lineup now coming up for St. Louis with Carpenter right here. And then you've got Peralta and Reynolds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nearly threw that away. And you wonder about Colton Wong pushing off that leg and maybe the toe to get back into first base, and how painful that must be right now for him.
I'm not so sure that ball didn't hit him in the hamstring, and on the tag it did. It hit him. So kind of had a rough turn around the bases here. If that ball doesn't hit him, it may go into right field. He's on the second base or more.
Carpenter could just punch it through the left side. The third baseman Bryant playing in off the line a bit. Starlin Castro near the bag at second. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Carpenter. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. In the driver's seat right now is Carpenter, the 2-1. Misses in, 3-1. Jason Mott throwing in the pen for the Chicago Cubs. 21 come from behind wins for St. Louis, most in baseball.
I'd give up the patient thing and go ahead and swing at a 3-1 pitch. I just learned that. But he takes this one. Well, what you really do, Dan, is you look for a pitch you can drive. Stroke didn't just throw a fastball down central to Carpenter. He threw a slider. But he's struggling with the command of his fastball.
Sure is. They start the runner here on 3-2. That's Wong. There he goes. And Carpenter drives this one. Right center. With room, Fowler, and makes the catch in front of the track, and Wong retreats back to the bag at first. Boy, he just missed it.
Well, he had an almost in the 5th inning, and he just got another almost. Underneath both of them just a bit.
Peralta would love to atone for what happened in the first. Runner at third, 1 out. And he grounded out with a play at the plate. That pitch taken outside. This is where Stroke can be so tough on right-handed hitters because of what you talked about, Ricky. That slider.
Devastating slider. Sharp break, throws it hard.
Cardinals at one point were 1 for 18 after the triple by Grichuk against Arrieta. I said it, where you might be doing yourself a favor to have that base hit to bring Arrieta up and force the hand of Joe Madden. Get him out of there.
Exactly right. You don't give up the hit on purpose to do that, obviously, but you know, it almost paid off. Denorfia got a hit, and he pulls that down the line a little bit more, and that's an extra base hit. It already was, but it certainly would have scored the runner if it was down the line just a bit more.
3-0 now on Peralta. And Johnny takes a pitch inside, and the go-ahead run in scoring position with Colton Wong at second. And the batter is Mark Reynolds, and this has turned out to be a rough outing for Pedro Strop, and his outing is through. Home run by Garcia. Hit Colton Wong. Carpenter drove one near the track in right center. Walk to Peralta. And now Joe Madden has to go to his bullpen. What a moment. Here in this 8th inning, Greg Garcia, leadoff homer. A new hero steps up every night, it seems like, for St. Louis. Players gather in Cincinnati for the Midsummer Classic. Home field advantage for the World Series on the line. Coverage of the All-Star Game begins July 14th at 6 on Fox. Greg Garcia did not hit a home run in his 61 games at AAA this year. Both his Major League RBIs have been, by the way, against the Cubs. The hit by pitch in the walk-off, and then this one moments ago. Here's Jason Mott. Chevy called to the pen.
Having a good season, 5 wins out of the bullpen. He's kind of been a guy that's come in and gotten victories and pitched at the right time. The ERA is good.
Well, this is power against power here. Reynolds and Mott. This may be a matchup that favors the Cardinals. As we've seen, Jason Mott relies on one pitch, the fastball.
And sometimes it's straight, but it's always hard, and it's gotten harder the further he gets away from his arm injury and his surgery.
And the 0-1. Reynolds with a fly ball, skied into shallow left, going out Starlin Castro for the out.
I'll bet Garcia's heart is still pounding.
Now Joe Madden will go back to his bullpen. I love the emotion from Garcia, the excitement. You know, the Cardinals are very businesslike in what they do night after night, in my opinion. And to see that kind of emotion and the raw emotion and excitement, it's fun to watch. Greg Garcia has tied it. 2-2. Lefty is in, and he will get Jason Hayward. By the way, Greg Garcia, that's his first home run since August 3rd of 2014. The Cardinals have runners at first and second, and Russell will face Jason Hayward. What a moment for Greg Garcia.
Jason Hayward has done a nice job of hitting left-handed pitching this season. It was something that I think the Cardinals were concerned about with a left-handed heavy lineup coming out of spring training. You've got Wong and Carpenter and Jay, and now you're going to add Hayward to that left-handed side along with Adams at the time, and you're thinking, well, we don't want to be vulnerable to left-handers, but he's hit lefties well.
2 outs, 2 on. Wong is the runner at second base, and Hayward on the first pitch pops it up. Who wants it? It'll be Russell. Would that have been so?
Oh my, it could have happened.
First big league homer in a big time situation for Greg Garcia. The emotion. Cubs Cardinals tied up at 2. 2-2 game as Greg Garcia's tied it up again, his first home run at any level since August of last year, and it comes moments ago, and a big one. The top of the lineup will get Trevor Rosenthal. It'll be Dexter Fowler, Anthony Rizzo, and Chris Bryant. Fun ball game here tonight. Fowler with the double over John Jay's head back in the 7th, came around to score on an RBI sac fly by Chris Bryant. That made it 2-1 at the time, and the Cardinals have tied it up 2-2.
What I love about that moment with Garcia is we kind of projected he would lead off, but you're thinking about him leading off so that he could do what? Get on base, right? You're thinking he's going to try to walk, slap the ball somewhere, get on base, and the great surprise is he had a little more for us.
Two balls, one strike on Dexter Fowler. Pitch at 98 from Trevor Rosenthal. Boy, we've seen some hard throwers in this game, starting with Arrieta. Saw Jason Mott stroke out of the pen for the Cubs, and hard throwing Trevor Rosenthal now for St. Louis. The 2-2.
Trevor has not pitched that well against the Cubs overall in his short career. ERA over 5. It's his worst earned run average against any National League Central team, and he's 0-3 against the Cubs. But he has made some strides from a year ago, hasn't he?
Oh, sure. I noticed the change in his delivery in terms of not as much motion, which
right.
was a point of emphasis for the Cardinals in spring training. He just gets it, comes set, and goes. But also his lack of usage at times, which has been, I think, beneficial for him. 2-2. The changeup in the ground, full count.
I saw from Trevor a year ago, especially out of the windup, that he would get really fast with his lower half. I mean, really jerky with his legs, his very strong legs that drive to the plate. Start easy, then explode.
Strikeout to start the night for Rosenthal. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Strike 2, Anthony Rizzo. 0 for 3, was hit by a pitch. The 2-2 game, 9th inning. Cardinals bring their closer in, Trevor Rosenthal.
Rizzo's,
1-2 the count.
Rizzo's a very good young hitter, and he understands the strike zone well. Very hard to strike out. He's barely got a piece of that one. But like Bryant behind him, they'll walk a lot, so their on base percentage is high.
Circle change, yeah.
And he's out front and very much fooled.
He hurt himself a little bit too.
Yeah.
He was walking around the batter's box during the replay that we showed and clearly was uncomfortable. 1-2 pitch is hit out of play. Down the left field line, and it is a foul ball.
A little too close for comfort there.
Sure was. And him out in front with a changeup on the 1-2. 2 down. Looking into the bottom of the ninth, the Cardinals will have Yadier Molina, Randall Grichuk, and John Jay.
We had a video sequence. We had a montage, if you will, of great Cardinal moments against the Cubs, and it was amazing to me how many times I saw John Jay in the middle of some of that, and not only, you know, kind of him doing it either with the hit or the walk or on base, but at times just being in the middle of the pile. I mean, he's become a veteran on this team now, and he's seen a lot of those big moments, and maybe he has something in store for us here in the bottom of the ninth.
1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Bryant. Infield hit back in the 5th, sac fly RBI in the 7th. Change up again. Boy, he's had these hitters way out in front, trying to gear up for what could be triple digits. And here comes the crowd again at Busch Stadium.
So hard to catch up with 99 when you're worried about looking bad on a changeup.
One, two, a broken bat, and just over the Cardinals dugout, out of play.
Came back with the changeup after the fastball in, and might have been a strike.
2-2. You go with the fastball here and challenge Bryant, or you looking something else?
If I threw 100, I would. And I think the reason is the changeup certainly is a great pitch for Rosenthal, but when a guy throws hard and you go to his secondary pitch, the tendency sometimes is to try to throw it for a strike with a changeup, and that can be dangerous if you hang it. So I'd say let it go with the fastball.
And a ground ball that's hit to short. A chance for the Cardinals to win it when we come back. Bottom of the ninth rolls in. What a night here at Busch. It's 2-2. St. Louis. Yadier Molina, Randal Grichuk, and John Jay for St. Louis coming up. The Cardinals tied up with a Greg Garcia solo home run off the bench. Rondon is the new pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Molina walked and scored back in the second inning. He is grounded out and struck out. Hector Rondon, our Chevy called to the pen. And that's pulled foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Fifth Cub pitcher used in a 2-2 game in the 9th inning. Really seen the best of the Cubs relievers so far. And that ball that Yachty just hit, who's 4 for 5 against Rondon, we could see Bryant guarding the line at third.
And a strikeout of Molina. That's how we start the bottom of the 9th. There's Randal Grichuk. Grichuk with his 5th triple of the season back in the second inning. Struck out in the 4th and grounded out to short.
Rondon has been sharp. His last 11 2/3 innings pitched, has not given up a run in just 6 hits covering 13 appearances.
0-2. And initially here he looked sharp.
He does.
Outfield very deep for Randal Grichuk. The 0-2 pitch. You may see that slider again and again and again. Fastball that time at 97. The strikeout of Grichuk. And it brings in Jay.
Well, this is how you get to be a closer. You show this kind of stuff. Fastball off the plate, but 97 following some nasty sliders.
Two outs and nobody on, and that pitch taken low by Jay. Cardinals now have outscored their opponents 44-19 in the 8th inning this year. Here's a 1-0. Jay with a ground ball and a quick inning for Rondon. Extra innings coming up on this Friday night. The Cubs and Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. beef jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. Randy Choate will get a couple of lefties here in Montero and Coghlan. Those two are up. And let's see if the Cubs want to pinch hit. Start a right-hander against Randy Choate. Looks like that's what they will do. This is Matt Caesar.
This is 2 for 12 as a pinch hitter. They'll face Choate. I think anytime you look at the numbers of Choate, you realize that if you're going to keep your left-handers in against him, you're probably not going to succeed. I think part of what he does is turn the lineup around and get guys out. I, for one, am glad Montero's out of the game. Been a Cardinal killer.
Yeah. Seemed that way with Arizona, and he's had some big hits as a Cub already. The numbers there for Choate. Chevy called to the pen, and Caesar trying to bunt his way on, and there's strike one. And a fly ball lifted into shallow right. There's Jason Hayward. One away. Cubs have stranded 10. They have 10 hits here tonight in this 2-2 game. And Joe Maddon pulling out all the stops with the lefty on the mound, going with the righties against Randy Choate. And if anybody knows Randy Choate well, it is Joe Maddon. Randy loved pitching for Joe Maddon in Tampa Bay.
It's interesting that they're taking some time here to have the pinch hitter. Normally, the way baseball has been is you're supposed to have that guy ready to go. And they're calling back a player, bringing in a pinch hitter, and it's just a little different than what we've seen, but doesn't really matter because Randy Choate's not going to face him either way. Double switch going on for Mike Matheny. He'll explain it to our home plate umpire, Jim Wolf. And we're going to see Seth Maness.
Seth Maness in to pitch to David Ross with 1 out, nobody on. Left on the bench for Joe Madden, switch hitting Jonathan Herrera. That's it. Maness has been used a ton this year. Ross, base hit.
Ross wastes no time jumping on that first pitch. Maness has been used a lot. Part of it is he's been so effective. He can get outs quickly. That's one thing about Seth Maness. He works quickly, and it happens quickly when he's on the mound. Good, bad, or indifferent. Not a lot of wasted time from Seth Maness. He has 27 innings out of the Cardinals bullpen. I just wonder if his pitch total isn't a little bit lower than most relievers. Gets 2 outs with 1 pitch quite a bit.
Borges, by the way, is in center, part of that double switch. So the Cardinals, looking at to the bottom of the 10th inning, would have Borges, Wong, and Carpenter coming up. One out, runner at first. The batter is Starlin Castro. He singled on a hit and run back in the 4th inning. He has grounded out to short, popped out to second, and struck out. A 2-2 game here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals and the Cubs on Fox Sports Midwest. What has been certainly an entertaining ball game thus far. Cubs with 11 hits. They've out-hit the Cardinals 11-4. The 2-1 pitch. Runner goes, and just like they did back in the 4th inning, the hit and run, that was with Miguel Montero, this time with David Ross. So you can see Joe Madden trying to pull all the different little strings in this game right now.
And that was a really good pitch for Maness, a 2-1 changeup that Castro, who was trying to put the ball in play, just couldn't keep his hands back long enough. And will he repeat with the changeup or throw the sinker to try to get the ground ball? Seth Maness has thrown the fewest number of pitches by a reliever with 27 innings or more in all of baseball.
So there's your answer about how much he has worked. The 2-2. One out, runner at first. 2-2 pitch. And again, that pitch down in the zone from Maness as Castro stays alive. Jose Oquendo, he's the one that will set the infield, and at this point Jose has got Matt Carpenter about 1 step off the line at third. His base hit, which was back in the 4th, was to right on the hit and run. Beautiful piece of hitting by Castro. A 2-2.
He's so close to the line at third, you can almost hit a double to his left. He probably could if it was hit hard enough. Right on the line. Good outfield defense with Grichuk, Borges, and Hayward, and that may become important. Chris Maloney sets them. Has them bunched a little bit in the outfield. Off the line is Grichuk in left.
Two-two. There's your ground ball. Carpenter to second. The turn. Not in time. They do get the lead man.
We can hardly turn this any faster. Carpenter charges it, gets rid of it quickly. Perfect throw. Wong does a nice job of clearing from the runner heading down to second base, but no chance to get him.
Now Mike Baxter. Single to left back in the 8th inning. So an RBI single in the 4th and a single here in the 10th. So that drops in. 3-hit night for Mike Baxter. Jonathan Herrera, the last position player available for Joe Madden. So that's something to think about as well.
They're bringing in Randy Choate. Kind of neutralize that right side of the bench. You got him in the ball game. Turn the lineup over. You're right. Herrera's left. And interesting that Mike Baxter and Greg Garcia are our offensive stars here tonight. Not sure many would have predicted that.
Two outs and two on. First pitch is strike. Oh, 1 pitch. Now it's 0-2. Got him. Manus comes in and shuts the door. Through 9 innings, only 4 hits, but yet it's 2-2. The Cubs have stranded 12. Justin Grimm is into the game.
Another Cub reliever having a good season. This has really been a much better staff this year than a year ago. Ross stays in the game to catch. As you mentioned, Joe Madden out of bullets on his bench.
Peter Borges, part of the double switch. He does have 2 home runs. This season, it'll be Borges, Wong, and Carpenter.
What's your favorite type of Cardinal walk-off victory, Dan? Do you like the
home run?
The home run more than the walk-off hit by pitch?
Yeah.
Or the walk-off walk?
Also enjoyed a race around the bags. You know, guys scoring from first. The excitement of it. Borges, extra bases here. Racing to second. The Cardinals have the winning run at second base. And you?
I like to see a play at the plate. I like the home run, don't get me wrong, but I like to see a close play at the plate. And maybe we've got that in store for us with Peter Borges. Nice start to the bottom of the 10th.
See how the Cardinals want to play this year with Colton Wong. The Cubs have both corners, Bryant and Rizzo, in. And now David Ross out to visit with the right-hander, Justin Grimm.
The home run, Dan, it's a display of power. You love it. It's awesome. Just like that, game over. But boy, the base hit to the outfield with somebody streaking home. The throw, the catch, the tag. Give me one of those.
Wong takes a ball high. If you're the Cubs, in particular left and center, do you want to play in a little bit more? They're very shallow in right. You know about the speed of Borges. It's a base hit. This game could be over.
You can't be deep in the outfield, and they've all moved in right now to a point where they think they can throw out Borges at the plate with Castro keeping him close.
And by him keeping him close and the third baseman Bryant playing in, huge gap on the left side of the infield.
Absolutely.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Colton Wong. Fights it off and a foul ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Cubs scored in the 7th inning, partly because Anthony Rizzo got Fowler from second to third with nobody out. Their best hitter gave himself up, and they got a run.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Colton Wong. Up the middle, off the bag. Borges stopped at third. Oh my goodness.
What a break.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? A base hit for Colton Wong. Now runners at the corners.
Well, he moves the runner over by hitting the ball to the right side, but the right side of the second base bag. So he gets an infield hit. Castro was all ready to field that ball. That ball could have bounced out into the outfield and been game over.
Well, Joe Madden now has called time, and they could load him up and bring the outfielders in, have an extra man there. We'll see how they want to play it. Unbelievable. The second hit of the night for Colton Wong. And this crowd is ready to explode here at Busch Stadium.
One of my other favorite moments for a Cardinal win was the Carlos Marmol wild pitch with Adrian Chambers scoring.
So they will walk intentionally Matt Carpenter, load him up, and then they'll bring in Mike Baxter from right field, and he's racing in now. You know, Joe Madden cannot call time and go back out there and set his defense. At that point, he's got to go to his pen. It would be his second visit. So they're screaming there from the Cubs dugout trying to set the defense, and they finally have.
They planned on having the 5 in the infield after the walk, but I think he kind of thought, hey, let's do it right now just in case the ball is over the plate. Carpenter tries to swing the bat. And Dan, we talked about this moment. There's Adrian Chambers, September 24th, 2011. The ball gets by, and talk about emotion. You said you like it when there's emotion from young players. That moment had plenty of it.
Well, now the base is loaded. 3 men on the left side of the infield, 2 on the right side. The only man that matters is Borges at third. Peralta at the plate. We got here thanks to Greg Garcia off the bench with a solo home run. Against Grimm, tremendous numbers for Peralta. The 1-0 pitch to Johnny Peralta. Fouled back, 1-1. Inning started with a double by Peter Borges. Wong the single. Intentional walk to Carpenter. They're loaded up. A 1-1 pitch to Johnny Peralta. 2-1. A night in which the Cardinals have been out hit 12-6. A chance to win it here in the 10th. The 2-1. Peralta puts it in play. Little squibber hit to second, and the throw is wide, and the Cardinals win. Borges scores. Win number 49 for St. Louis as Peter is down. The Cardinals win it in extra innings. 3-2 the final.
Well, there's a new way for a walk-off Cardinal winner. Borges streaking home. The Cardinals, another come-from-behind victory. And Johnny Peralta, our player of the game.
And Borges, it looked like, may have taken a shot to the head or the face. Oh, he sure did.
The hard slide into the bat, and also catches the right foot of Ross.
Post-game show comes your way next, and a wild one here at Busch.